we're back in the side or the back of the building. So we got our very first no cool call of the season. 70 degrees today. Over here that's super crazy hot because it's usually 40s. But anyway, we got a no cool call. The air handler is running inside, but this guy's not turning on and it's not cooling. So let's see what's going on. It's a pain in my butt unit. Pain. Anyway, here we go. Okay, so we got the panel open and it looks like the contactor's closed, but we got nothing going on. So we're gonna see if we're getting voltage. And this actually is a pretty new unit. I think it's a 2019. So first things first, before I touch anything, I'm gonna make sure I got high voltage. Uh-oh. Okay, I do have voltage. Let's see here. And I got voltage on top. Why is nothing running? Well, a couple things is it could be a bad capacitor. Now, the reason why the fan's not running is this has a low ambient kit, looks like. Yeah. So the head pressure has to reach a certain pressure in order to turn on the fan. So since the compressor's not running, it's not reaching that, so it's not turning on the fan. So anyway, let's see what's going on. We're gonna start by checking the capacitor. So we're gonna kill the power and then go from there. So here we go. Okay, so this is a 45 5. So 45 is for the compressor and 5 is for the condenser fan motor. So yeah, it's about there. So that's enough for it to start up. Wow, we might have a bad compressor. Okay, and our fan side is fine. So I suspect the fan's not spinning because of that low ambient control. Let's see, do we have any pressure switches? No, there's no pressure switches in here. And this guy here, yeah, so this is connected directly to this relay. So we're gonna hook this back up, see if I can get the fan running. So yeah, that low ambient sensor, low ambient pressure switch, that turns on this relay when the pressure is high enough to turn the fan on. So when you're trying to cool in low ambient conditions, if the fan's not running, that increases your head pressure. So you can actually get some cooling, get some subcooling going on. Okay, so we are checking our run windings. Well, I'm sorry, we're checking our compressor windings between run and start. So I'm getting 2.9. And then we're gonna go from start to common, and I got nothing. So the thermal overload may have been tripped. So now we're gonna go ahead and try common to run. Yeah, open line. And now we're gonna do common to ground, and that should be an open line. If you get a reading, then that means it's a grounded compressor. So we're going ground to run. We already did ground to common, ground to start. Okay, cool, it's all open line. So it may just be overheated. So one of the things you can do to reset this is pour cold water on top of the compressor. And then what you do is you just put this on your common and start, or common and run. And you just keep pouring water on top of it until you start getting a reading. And usually the longest it's ever taken me is 30 minutes on a really hot day. So yeah, if it takes longer than that, then you probably just have a screwed up thermal overload switch inside the compressor, which means you need a new compressor. Or it could be a burnt common winding, not a whining. But yeah, anyway, so there's nothing more I can do until I reset this thing. So yep, we're gonna try to cool this thing down. So I'm gonna see if I can find a water tap, which there probably isn't one. And then while we wait, we're gonna see what our refrigerant level is inside here and go from there. And of course I don't have a key for these locking caps, so it should be fun to get those off. So yep. Okay, so it still hasn't reset, but I hooked up some gauges and we have 0 PSI in there. So yeah, it's flat. So that explains why the compressor's on thermal overload. If it runs and there's no refrigerant, it uses that cold refrigerant coming back through the suction line to keep the compressor cool. So since there wasn't anything coming back, it just got too hot and overheated. Got my thermal gun here. See, it's like 104 degrees and it's off. So yeah, it definitely overheated. So hopefully the compressor didn't go bad. So we're gonna have to come back. All right, so we're back here today. We're pumping it up with nitrogen, see if we can find a leak. So we just hook her up and pump it up. So this one's a 410A system, so I'm probably gonna put about 300 PSI in it. And I'm hoping the leak's gonna be there. So we're gonna get that done. While I'm waiting for that to fill up, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that see if the compressor reset. Oh, actually, I think I hear it. Okay, so I can hear the hiss. I don't know if you can hear that. It sounds like it's somewhere, I feel it, somewhere around here. Oh, there it is. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and shut off the valves, and I'm gonna pressurize the line set and the indoor coil just to make sure that there's no leak, in there too. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, so we're gonna close off these valves, and we're gonna pressure up the line set just to make sure there's no other leaks anywhere else. So this will isolate the line set from the condensing unit. And then we'll pressure that up and see if it holds. And then still got to check to make sure the compressor reset. Hopefully it didn't burn it out. And we'll just have to change out the coil and not the whole thing. But if that compressor's dead, I'm going to totally try to get a whole new unit, because it's a lot easier to just braze these two ports. Alright, so I'm a little frustrated. I just got back from the manufacturer. Or over the phone, and they told me that's going to take a week to get this coil, and on top of that, it's out of warranty. So because this is in a commercial building, even though it's a residential unit, they only have a 1-year warranty, and it expired a month ago. 1 month. So now I'm going to have to hack up this shoddy coil and try to fix it, because they don't want to pay, because I think the coil, they wanted to charge us like $1,000 plus freight. And the owner of the place definitely doesn't want to do that, considering it's like a little over a year old. So we're going to go ahead and cut all that off, try to get to the leak, and then braze it up, and hopefully that's it. I have the line set isolated and under pressure, and it's been holding. So I think this is our culprit. So yeah, this is a pain unit. Don't install them, because especially if it's a commercial unit, because you only have a 1-year warranty. And the thing is it was cold, so there was no reason for them to run the air conditioner. So this probably happened like well within the warranty time, and they just didn't notice it till now, because we got one hot day, which was 70. So anyway, that's my rant. So I'm gonna go ahead and start trying to get that isolated so I can get to it, and then we'll see if we can fix it. Okay, so we got her all hacked up on a 1-year-old coil. Thank you, Payne. So it looks like it's on the solder point. So yeah, totally defective coil. Bad solder, or bad braze point. Yeah, I can feel it. So yeah, it's right there on that point. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and rebraze it. So I'm gonna get this nitrogen out of here, and we'll go from there. Okay, so our leak is right here. So yeah, so basically it's a crappy solder, and then this thing was probably rubbing on it because it was loose, and rubbed a hole in it. Probably started really tiny and just got worse. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and braze this up. Now this is very thin and it's very small piping, so we don't want to make our torch like not too hot, otherwise we'll just blow through it, and we don't want to keep the torch on there for too long. So I'm probably gonna melt the solder onto it and then spread it. We're gonna keep it right about there. Burn off any impurities. Keep our torch far back. And yes, I'm running nitrogen through the unit. Okay. Hopefully that should do it. So I got about 70 PSI in this guy. And we're just gonna make sure. I think we got it. Yep, we got it. Cool, so we're gonna pump her up to 300 pounds and let it hold for a minute. Well, you know. Yeah, there's my mess. Now I'm gonna kind of try to clean this up a little bit just to make it look a little bit nicer. And I'm probably gonna cover that up with a piece of something. And then put it all back together. But what a shame, man, having to hack up a coil like that on a 1-year-old system. Thank you, Payne. Okay, so while we're waiting for that, we're just gonna make sure we have continuity across all the windings. All right. Yep. So yeah, the thermal overload has reset. So hopefully this compressor isn't fried because it's totally not under warranty. So we'll be back once the pressure test passes. We already know that there's no leaks in the other one because we pressurized that separately. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna let it hold for a minute. If it loses pressure, we know it's somewhere in here. And then if everything's good, we'll pull a vacuum, charge it up, put it all back together, and they'll be nice and cool in there because it's about 80 degrees in there. And it's about, I think it's like 50 degrees. I think it's like, yeah, it's like, okay, it's 60 degrees out here and it's like 80 inside. Because their 1-year-old brand new system, Payne system, doesn't work because it has a leak in a coil and they don't want to own up to their manufacturer defect and do a warranty claim. So they're making me hack it up. It's BS. Lost a lot of respect for you, Payne, Carrier, whatever you're called nowadays. But anyway, personally, I don't really, well, Carriers are okay. I don't think I'd sell one though for this reason. So anyway, yep. Okay, so it held pressure. It actually went up a little bit. So it was at 202, or I'm sorry, 302.5 and 302.3. So it went up a little bit. And we had it hold for 26 minutes. I just wanted to be 100% sure because I don't want to have to come back on another leak. But anyway, I'm gonna let the nitrogen out and start the vacuum and then continue from there. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start up the vacuum. We got the shredder cords pulled out, shredder cord removers. I've taken out that pressure switch for the low ambient kit. And we have our gas ballast open. So here we go. Alright, open up our valve. So usually I'll let it run until it hits about 1500 microns and then I'll close the gas ballast. So I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my stuff and I'm gonna go take a lunch. Oh cool, so we're already pulling. So yeah, I use the Fieldpiece EP57. Been very happy with it so far. You can see it's taken quite a beating over the years, so pretty good vacuum pump. I'm happy with it. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Okay, we're back from lunch and we definitely got our vacuum. So we're at 349. So we're gonna go ahead and grab some refrigerant and get this thing charged up. Okay, so if we look at the plate here, it shows that it holds 6 pounds, 6.07 pounds, R410A. So we'll go ahead and get our scale and our refrigerant and get this thing all charged. Okay, so 6 pounds it is, so here we go. And we're letting it into the liquid side. So hopefully we can get all of it in there without having to crank it on. So we'll be back once it's all charged up. Okay, so we got her all charged up. We're gonna go ahead and put our shredded cores back in first, and then we'll go ahead and fire it up. See how it goes. So this is the Appion shredder core remover. So we put the shredder core on the tip, open up our valve, and we want to let a little bit out just to purge out any air. And then we just shove that in there like that, and then screw it in. And just don't over tighten it, because you don't want to strip it. When we close this, we take this off, there'll be a little bit in there. And then a good test is to open it. It's good, so now we take it off. And we'll do the same thing for the liquid one. Okay, so shredder cores are in. We've put our low ambient control, so the fan probably won't turn on right away. So we're gonna fire her up and hopefully she goes. Looks like the thermostat's already calling because the contactor's closed, so let's go ahead and plug her in. And hopefully she don't blow up. Here we go. Okay, compressor is on. And we are getting some head pressure. And once that pressure hits the right amount, we should get our fan to come on. I plugged it in, right? Yeah. Oh, nope, there it goes. Ooh, it feels nice. Okay, so I just rounded it up to 7 pounds, but yeah, pressure's still a little bit on the low side. Our target subcooling is 10, and we're at like 2, I think. Yeah, 2.1. Our superheat is 33.3, so it's a little bit on the low side, or a little high superheat, low subcooling. So we're gonna let this thing run because it's 410A, so we wanna let it run for a good like 10 minutes, let it stabilize. And then, but this has a really long line set, so I'm probably gonna have to add a little bit more. So I just topped it off to 7, just rounded it up. We'll let it run for 10 minutes and then we'll see where it's at. Then we'll add a little more if necessary. And then I've bypassed the low ambient. So currently it's set to 400 PSI, it's gonna kick on the fan, and 300, it's gonna kick off the fan. So it's a 100 PSI differential. I called somebody and apparently that's normal for 410A in this area. So yeah, but the pressures are gonna keep bouncing when it's doing that. So for charging purposes, I've just bypassed it. And then I'll put it back when I'm done. But yeah, we're above, we're at 32 saturation on our low side and 75 on our high side. So yeah, it should definitely be a little bit higher. So we're gonna have to add some more charge. But like I said, I'm gonna let it stabilize a little bit, because when I first turned it on, it was at like 80 on the low side and like 200 on the high. And now it's kind of balancing out. So we're gonna give it a little bit before we put more in there. Last thing I want to do is overcharge the thing. Okay, she's been running for about 10 minutes, so it's pretty much stabilized right here. So still a little bit on the low. We got a 23 superheat and 2.2 subcooling, so we're going to charge a little bit more. We're going to probably just put in half pound first, and I'll just do half pound at a time. So what we're going to do is we're going to crack our suction, because we want to meter it in. That way it'll convert the liquid into a vapor, so we don't slug our compressor. And we'll go at 7.8. We'll let her stabilize, give it like 5 minutes, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we got about 9 pounds in this guy. So superheat's at 6. Usually we like to see 5. 5 to 15-ish. Subcooling is at 4. It's still kind of climbing. So I'm gonna call it a day because it's 65 out here, so it's kind of low ambient. So, but my superheat's where I want it, and my pressures are okay. So we'll leave it as is. It's above freezing, so it should be good. But anyway, I can't wait till we actually get an 80-degree day, then we can get some accurate readings. I find that 80 and above, that's when you get the best readings on these things. Anyway, that's how you detect the leak and fix the leak when you have a system that should be under warranty, but it's not. So anyway, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, comment, tell me what a horrible technician I am, hit that bell notification, and follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thanks for watching.